You ever say that to me again, I'm never coming back. That's the first thing I said to my psychologist after he told me I had PTSD. It's also the first thing I wrote in my chapter on stigma in my book, Setting My Sights on Stigma, Thoughts from an Injured Mind. And I wrote this because it's a book I needed when I was a new cop. Nobody taught us about mental health. Nobody taught us how to handle these kind of challenges, and I wasn't ready for it. So that's why I combined my experience trying to reduce stigma. It's actually the number one thing we can do to help others. Often what we're trying to do is we hide what we go through, and really it takes courage to show the vulnerability of what we went through and to use it to help other people. So my background, I've had almost 20 years in law enforcement. I did about 10 years on the SWAT team, or as we call it up in Canada, emergency response team. And then I did my master's degree studying police culture and police leadership. And I spent 4 years writing a book on mental health. It's this one right here. It's called Setting My Sights on Stigma, Thoughts from an Injured Mind. And I didn't do this to sell it to you. I did it to help you because it's the book I needed when I was a new police officer. And we're still not yet teaching this stuff enough to new police officers or even current police officers. I know what it's like. I've been off work with a psychological injury or PTSD diagnosis. Um, I failed my return to work psych exam. That's a very opening line in the book as I talk about that. But I don't just share the hardship, I share what I learned and I share what actually helped me to get better. It's basically the brain science, the neuroplasticity, and the research, the actual steps I took to get better. And I outline chapter by chapter the things that I needed to learn, which is mental health stigma, lethal force psychology, emotional pain. So, like next of kin notifications, telling someone about the death of their loved one, or maybe a child sex assault and how it can really hurt us. The police culture and anti police culture, and how like some of society doesn't like cops because they don't understand that we're actually using violence to keep them safe. It's not because we want to hurt people. Trauma or finding post traumatic growth. And in that, I have like 40 pages of journaling from when I was off work with my psychological injury. And I actually share it. I put a whole bunch of it into the book and I just lay it all out there for everyone to see. Suicide. I've lost a loved one to suicide, and they don't really teach us anything about this, but there is so much good research out there on suicide. So I share not only the hardship of what it's like to go through the loss of a loved one, but also the good research out there that we need to share to help about it. I also share about organizational stress, moral injuries, what it's like to feel betrayed by the organization. Even in my own organization, I've been through a founded harassment complaint. I don't talk a ton about it because I don't actually think our organization's full of harassment. I think often there's a small minority of people who cause a lot of problems and we struggle to get rid of them and to do the right thing about it. I also cover brain science. I call it intuition, but I share stories of like suicide by cop attempts where people tried to make me shoot them as a police officer or a member of a SWAT team, and how hard that was for me, how much that hurt me internally. And then the last thing I share is all about sleep science. I know what it's like to suffer from terrible nightmares, and it was awful. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So if you're suffering from that, I compiled all the research that helped me as I healed from my nightmares. And honestly, journaling was a big part of that too. And then in my last chapter, I actually share what it's like to have passive suicidal ideation, which basically just means that when you hit the point of like thinking, I don't want to be here anymore, or the world would be better off without me, my family would be better off without me. That's how much pain I had in my life was I hit that point. And I share this, I put it all out to the world just because I want to help people. So you can find my book, it's on Amazon. You can go to my website, it's just my name, markbouchard.ca, MarkBouchard. I'll put some links down in the show notes and you can come find me on a bunch of the social medias. But I'm just going to start putting out some educational content and try and help other people, other police officers. So that's why I'm doing this. Leave a comment down below. Tell me about your experience in policing and tell me what you've learned that you think can help others. Thank you.